Okay, hi guys. This video is really for you guys to just after you've done your assignment for grammar to check your answers mostly. I'm also going to go over the stuff that it's talking about on nominative case pronouns. This is for pages 124 and 125. So hopefully it won't be too long. And it's sort of after you've tried to do it and maybe want to check your answers. So go ahead and you should be able to see, get myself out of the way here. If you look on the screen, it sort of covers what you see on page 124. So we know, obviously, if nouns can be used as subjects, then also pronouns may be used as subjects. So that's the first example they give us of nominative case pronouns. Now, the nominative case pronouns, they come from the personal pronoun list. You have singular, which is I, you is always singular or plural. And then you have he, she, or it. And then in plural, we use we and they. So some examples that we see here, we have she and I have begun nurses training. So in this case, if you're not sure what your subject is, you follow the normal process of finding your verb. In this case, we have begun. Who have begun? We have she and I. So these are your subjects, both of which are pronouns. So you can see that they are in the nominative case. The second point there is that pronouns used as subjects, they must always be nominative case pronouns. So in some choices we have here, her or she read her Bible each morning. These are pretty easy. This is how we talk. So we would say she read her Bible each morning. Why did it do that? Let's put my pointer back on here. All right, so we know it's she. They or them went to eat at a restaurant. Well, we don't say them went to eat at a restaurant. We say they went to eat at a restaurant. So you have they as your subject. I or me will pray for the missionaries. Well, I is nominative case. I will pray for the missionaries. So that's your subject and it's nominative case. All right. Third point is that most problems occur when the subject is compound. So if you have an actual noun or a proper noun combined with your pronoun, take it out. Just have the sentence with just your pronoun as the subject to help you get a better idea. So in this case, Juan and he played on the basketball team. So take out the Juan and just say he played on the basketball team. And then it becomes pretty clear, I think, for most of us that he is the correct case. The teacher and her or she read their Bibles each morning. Take out the teacher and just say her read their Bibles each morning. No, she read her, the teacher and she read her Bible. So you know that it's she. All right. Him or he and she or her are friends. So we'd say he and she are friends. So those will be the correct cases. Okay, so the last point here, and you'll see some examples in your exercise. Sometimes the subject is immediately followed by an A positive. It's helpful to try the pronoun apart from the A positive. I know when we were working on nouns, a lot of people missed A positive because it's not something that you talk about or see very often. But you need to understand when you see a sentence like, we girls cleaned Mrs. Larson's house, girls is their A positive. This is not the subject. So if you're talking about a specific group of girls, this is just defining your subject. So you would say, we cleaned Mrs. Larson's house. Girls is just kind of telling you who we are. Again, we boys have done our share. So we would say we, because if you took out boys, you wouldn't say us have done our share. You would say we have done our share. And the same thing with this one. Girls is an A positive, so take it out. We will help with the church's spring cleaning. And then you see that that makes much clearer sense in this case. Okay, so really quick, let me switch out my share here and go through the activity exercise. So on page 124, well, let me actually share it. Let's see here. Share screen. There we go. Okay, so page 124, exercise A. Hopefully you have done this. Just check your answers and you can see here for number 1, Justin and she are going to the fair. Number 2, Daniela and she are baking cakes. 3, you have that A positive, boys. We boys will be doing yard work during the summer. 4 is a compound. She is planning a surprise party and he is planning a surprise party. So when you separate them and change that verb singular, you can see that it's she and he, not her and him. Number 5, again, you have an A positive, girls. Take it out. We need to know how to sew. So you know what version to use. Number 6, again, is a compound subject. Mr. Jones and I found a new method. If you take out the Mr. Jones and, then you wouldn't say me found a new method of caring for lawns. You would say I found a new method. So that's how you know that you've got the right case, nominative case. Okay, so number 7, Michelle and she are the shortest members. 8, we boys must learn the fine art of being gentlemen. So again, boys is your A positive. Number 9, both she and I participated in the marathon. So you've got 2 nominative case subjects here. And then the last one for exercise A is yesterday, Shelby and they returned from a 3-week vacation. That's where it gets really proper. And a lot of times you'll see people say Shelby and them returned from a 3-week vacation, but that is not grammatically correct. Take everything else out, say they returned from a 3-week vacation, and it becomes very clear that that's really the correct case you're supposed to be used, is supposed to be used. I don't know how I said that. Okay, so let's move on to the actual lesson and go over to page 125. So the other area where we use nominative case for our pronouns is when we have a predicate nominative. And again, this makes sense because your predicate nominative is renaming your subject. So it's so closely connected that both of them have to be in the same case, the way that we speak. And this helps too because the next case is called objective case. And so that's where all your objects belong. Direct object is objective, indirect object is adjective. It gets a little bit easier. But know that if it's renaming the subject, it needs to use the same case as the subject, which is nominative case. All right, after that, so first point, pronouns may be used as predicate nominatives. We have an example here. The next group will be they. I know a lot of times we don't talk like this. However, because it's defining group and you would say group equals they, then it needs to be in the same case. It needs to be a nominative case. All right. And we have the second point, which is pronouns used as predicate nominatives must be nominative case pronouns. We just said that. Riley answered, it is they. Go and see if it is he. It was not I that broke the plate. I know, we say me, we are wrong. It is I. Okay, so the next point, point number 7 on page 125 is that predicate nominatives may, and quite often, are compound. So the finalists were he and she. Your verb were, subject finalist, predicate nominatives rename who they describe who the finalists are. So they need to be a nominative case. The new club officers were is your linking verb, Jared, Ruby, and I. If it'll light up here. There we go. So in this case, I can show you your subject, your verb, and then the fact that you had 3 predicate nominatives here. All right, and then our last example here, the people invited to the reception are you and they. Again, because your linking verb is are, subject is people, the people are you and they. All right, so the next point here is that sometimes the predicate nominative is followed by an A positive, same problem. It's helpful to try the pronoun apart from the A positive. That's why it's so important for you guys to be able to recognize what is an A positive. And the fact that if you have a noun that is immediately followed by another noun, you're probably looking at an A positive. All right. Otherwise, we use the and a, and we have conjunctions like and or in between them. So look for those to be side by side, and you're probably looking at an A positive. So the winners were we boys, because you have your linking verb were, subject winners. Winners equal we. Boys is just an A positive telling the reader or the person being spoken to who we is. All right. So this gives you some more information. Okay, so no one knew that it was we girls that cleaned the classroom. So again, take out girls. No one knew it was we that cleaned the classroom. I know, even even if we didn't have the A positive, for a lot of us, we know that we like to use us. But you have your subject, no one knew, and then you have this dependent clause here, which remember a clause has its own subject and verb. It was we that cleaned the classroom. Okay. And then our last example for this one, it was we boys that did most of the yard work. So again, just take out that A positive. It was we that did most of the yard work. All right, last one here. The expression it is me or it's me is now commonly used in everyday conversation. However, when you are formally writing, like an essay, a professional letter or document, a research paper, something like that, you want to make sure that formally you're saying it is I. All right, so a little bit of practice, then we'll move on to, actually hold that thought because the practice covers everything and I like the doing it all at one time. So let me go back to share. Let's look at the homework. So page 125, exercise A, homework. We're looking at pronouns being used as predicate nominative. So you're going to see them in nominative case. Number one, the new doctors in town are Dr. Rabold and he. So again, take out that compound and it's the new doctors in town are he, is he, whatever. All right, number two, Rochelle said the finalists are they, nominative case. Number three, no one knew it was we girls. Girls is an A positive. So you need to recognize that we is your predicate nominative here. Number four, the angel for the Christmas play was she. Number five, the members of the play cast are Levi, Serenity, Damien, and I. Also notice that whenever you do have a pronoun, a personal pronoun in a list with compound, whether it's an object or a nominative case, that you still put it at the very end of that list. You're always the last person in the list. Okay, number six, the owner of the black and white husky is he. Number seven, if that had been they, so again, this is, we have a dependent clause here. That is your subject, had been is your verb, and it is linking, then they is your nominative case. All right, number eight, Mr. Barker thought it was she that had gone to the office. Number nine, we have an A positive in here, so take that out if you need to. No one ever expected that it was we that cooked for the class party. And then the last one, number 10, the good shepherd is he that gives his life for his sheep. Okay, so those are the answers to the homework assignments. Let me go ahead and go over these if you feel like you need some extra practice. And do take the time to make sure you understand this so we can all stay on track. Let's go through some of these exercises. Okay, so if you look at the first one here, what do you think is the correct one? It's being used as the subject of the sentence because you have your linking verb was, who was, she was, subject to nominative case. And so we use the right one there. All right. We or us will be visiting grandmother this afternoon. Your verb will be visiting. Who will be visiting? We will. So that's your subject. I feel like the subject ones are a lot easier than the predicate nominative, simply because the way that we like to speak casually, I guess. The new officers were Thomas and we us girls. So what's your verb? You have were. Officers is your subject. Officers were who. Thomas, and we. What's girls? It's an A positive. Don't get distracted. All right. The messengers for the company were she or her and he or him. So what's your verb here? We have were. So we have a linking verb. Who were the messengers? Messengers were she and he. Predicate nominatives. Okay. They or them wanted to visit the new science museum. They, nominative case. All right. Me or I must arrive at 5 o'clock on Friday. We have your verb must arrive. Who must arrive? I must arrive. So nominative case is I. All right. And that's pretty much it for today. So again, it's just for you guys to make sure that you understand this, check your answers, make sure you're doing it right. And otherwise, we should be in pretty good shape. I'll make another one for the objective case pronouns for tomorrow if we don't end up having class. Otherwise, I will see you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.